What's up, everybody? Hello. Rick Kamla, Hall of Famer, Steve Alexander, a.k.a. Dr. A, a.k.a. Doctora. We are the Fantasy NBA. Today, we will get Doc talking about his Pacers and all that jazz in a moment. Sorry for bringing up the jazz right now. It's just a saying. I want to tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for all your sports betting action. It's BetOnline. Baseball season's in full swing. The NHL and NBA playoffs are rolling. BetOnline has more ways to stay in the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. Hopefully you guys live bet OKC on the escalator last night. With the largest selection of odds in everything from MLB, NBA, NHL, UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. And for this show, I just want to put out a little promo announcement for you. If you're watching us live on Twitter right now, just a heads up, not every offseason episode will be available on Twitter or X. All right, so make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast, Subscribe to that podcast feed to catch every episode and stay in the loop. All right, Doc, we're back with our top 120. We're going to finish. Well, we're going to finish it out this week. Friday we will do 111 through 120. Right now we're going to do 101 through 110. Doc, we start with Collin Sexton. 8-cat total ranking of 101. 8-cat per game ranking of 112, 9-cat total ranking of 145. Young man played 63 games last year. Does this ranking represent Collin Sexton? And next year, are you fading, reaching, or drafting at value?
Well, he plays for the Jazz. So, wow, this first words I've spoken in a couple hours. My voice is a little shaky. He plays for the Jazz, so that immediately puts up a little bit of a red flag for me. I think the ranking, I feel like Collin Sexton was worth 100th draft pick in fantasy drafts. So I'm okay with him being ranked at 100 for last year. That seems about right. But man, the Jazz are so weird, and I know there's going to be a lot of free agent movement with them. How many years are they going to tank, Rick? And when are they going to actually try to win basketball games? I don't know. But with Isaiah Collier and Keontae George there, I would think Collin Sexton's days in Utah are numbered. So, I mean, he's not a guy I think we're targeting, but I am curious to see where he is and what his role will be next year.
So for Collin Sexton, I don't. Does this ranking represent him? Nah, it's a little high. The way I look at Sexton and maybe a lot of these players, because like I said, today we're doing 101 to 110, and then we'll do 111 to 120. The question for me is, are these guys top 120 guys for next year? And the reason I think that's important is, again, you take 120 divided by 12, that's 10 rounds. Are they a pick in the top 10 rounds of a normal 12-team league? I think it's a very salient question. For Collin Sexton, the answer is yes, but barely. And, Doc, everything you said is right. He enters next year, the final year of his deal. So he is a big-time candidate to be traded. And then where will he play? What kind of role will he play? Doc, most likely, if he's traded, he will not be in a scenario where he's averaging 18 points a game, because that's where he's at in Utah right now. Very quiet, under the radar 18. His PRA last year was 18, 3, and 4. Decent. Super efficient. This guy's an underrated player, Doc. He went 48, 40, 86. He flirted with a 50, 40, 90. Collin Sexton, okay? I like the player. I do. I just, it's playing time, it's role, it's usage rate, it's all that kind of stuff. End of the 10th round, you know what? I'm going to say no. I just there's a sleeper out there I know that I'd be hotter on than Collin Sexton. So I when I did the prep for this, I'm like, yeah, he's barely a what? Nah, yeah, am I drafting him in the 10th round? I don't feel good about that. I don't. So, Collin, love you, but this is fantasy over here. It's all about role and opportunity, and I don't see a big enough opportunity. Matter of fact, Doc, to your point, we have shutdown possibility if he stays in Utah, okay, especially entering the final year of his deal. He makes it through the deadline, they don't trade him, and so now maybe they want to look at younger guys. Now he's really on the way out, so let's just curb Collin Sexton, or you trade him to maybe a contender and he's averaging 12 points a game. Kind of like what DeAndre Hunter did last year going from Atlanta to Cleveland. It's all a no. It's all a red flag for me. So let's move on to Luguentz Dort. I mean, it's just nobody calls him Luguentz, right? Anyway, Lou Dort, 102, 8-cat total ranking, 8-cat per game of 143, 9-cat total ranking of 82, played 71 games. Do any of these rankings represent Lou Dort, Doc? And next year, are you even drafting him at all?
You said Luguentz, and I looked at my screen and was like, oh, yeah, his name is Luguentz. But yeah, nobody calls him that. It's Lou Dort. He played like I feel like this entire list are going to be guys that you take with the last pick of your draft, where you're just taking a flyer and hoping that what you throw at the wall sticks to the wall. Lou Dort is a very good basketball player, man. He's a two-way player. He can hit threes. He plays incredible defense. But he doesn't put up incredible fantasy defensive numbers. Like I don't want this guy guarding my team in real life. But fantasy-wise, it's not like he's averaging 3 steals or anything crazy. He averages 1 steal a game, and 0.5 blocks, and 2.4 threes, and 10 points. And everything else is sort of lacking. I think the 140 ranking, the 8-cat per game rank, is about right for Dort. Like, yes, he should probably be drafted in your league, but no, I'm not taking him probably at 100 or even worse. The 9-cat total ranking is 82, and no. And in my draft, yeah, I'll look at Lou Dort.
That is Steve Alexander, Hall of Famer, a.k.a. Dr. A. I'm Rick Kamla. We are the Fantasy NBA Today, Sports Ethos, Fantasy Basketball. Andre Lemouche is our producer. He is with us as well. Again, Doc, you're making a whole lot of sense here. He is not a top 120 guy. And is he even a top 143 guy? Okay, maybe. But at that point, when you get that deep in your draft, it's basically the beginning or like a head start on the waiver wire, okay? Your last probably 3 picks maybe dropped within a week or 2 of the start of the regular season. So Dort would fall into that mix of sort of end of roster, waiver wire bubble. He's a streamer. Lou Dort is a streamer. Tuesday night, 3 games, OKC rolling, fire up some Lou Dort. Thursday night, 4 games, light night, you need a forward, go get some Lou Dort. Maybe he has that 5-3 ball, 17-point pop game for you. That's who he is. I can't rock with a PRA of 10-4-1. I want nothing to do with that. He's at 1.1 steals, 2.4 threes, so that's helpful, decent, but not enough. That's not enough lipstick, Doc, to put on this pig, fantasy-wise, to get me intrigued. So he's not even a top 120 guy. He's a guy that Lou Dort will be drafted late, as Doc said, and I'll be like, good, because that means, the guy that I'm targeting is still available. And then, of course, Doc, when you wait, 13 picks or whatever to come back to you and you want, I don't know, Alex Sarr. And the pick before you, Dr. A's like, I know my boy Kamla wants Alex Sarr. I'm taking Alex Sarr, and you get sniped right before it comes to you. I mean, how many times that happened to us, man? Not a top 120 guy. Let's move on, Doc, to Dennis Schroder. He's at 103, 8-cat total ranking, 8-cat per game, 158, 9-cat total ranking of 137, and Dennis played 75 games. Do any of these rankings represent Schroder? And next year, Doc, are you fading, reaching, or drafting at value? And let me just put this out here. He will be a unrestricted free agent, so there's no promise that he'll be back in Detroit.
Yeah, I doubt he is back in Detroit. They've got Cade and Marcus Sasser. Why do they need Dennis Schroder? Although Schroeder's one of those guys. He reminds me of like a cockroach that you can't eliminate from your life. He just keeps coming back and making noise wherever he ends up. He could still end up being a starter at times somewhere else. So I'm always intrigued by Dennis Schroder. I rarely doubt Dennis Schroder, but we need to see where he ends up and what his role is going to be and who else they've got on the team. I'm not going to say I would never draft Dennis Schroder, but I'm thinking it's unlikely that I'm going to be drafting him.
Say hello to my little friend. My little friend, Doc, is called the waiver wire. Dennis Schroder is a waiver wire guy. We do not know where he is going to play. I'm with Doc. I don't think he's going to be back in Detroit. I don't think Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be back in Detroit. I believe that they're going to do what they can to keep Malik Beasley. They should. Give him a nice raise. I don't know, $30 million over 2 years. Malik Monk was I believe he was on a veteran minimum contract this year. So if you could get Malik Monk to like 2 years and 16, like he may leap at that. But Dennis Schroder, I think, look, Doc, I think he's a reality guy. Dennis Schroder is a fine bench player in the NBA. I like him. He defends. He's scrappy. He's competitive. He's an irritant to the other team. He gets buckets, albeit inefficiently. But he has these hot streaks and these takeover sequences, right? Like I can rock with some Dennis Schroder in reality. In fantasy, I cannot. He is not a top 120 guy. To me, he's not draftable unless he's just not draftable. Like in free agent, Doc, he's going to sign with somebody as a backup guard. Nobody's going to be like, yo, Dennis Schroder. Ooh, whoa, Dennis Schroeder's available? I got to go get him. He's my starting point guard. Nobody in the league is thinking that way. No one. So he'll be a bench player, and he will be off my radar. And look, there are ripple effects of this, right? Ron Holland is going to play more next year. I would think that, obviously, Jaden Ivey will be back. I would think that Marcus Sasser would play more. But, Doc, J.B. Bickerstaff just doesn't like that guy, right? Like with Monty Williams, he was playing Marcus Sasser, and he was kind of building a little bit and having some good games 2 years ago. You remember I had Sasser on my 30-deep team this year, held him all year long, Doc. Never popped, never. You know, like where your heartbeat goes, doop, 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 doop. You know, it never like went high. It just was like a flat line of crap and not playing at all year. So Ron Holland, I think, is going to be a beneficiary of this. Is he a top 120 guy? Probably not, but I think Ron Holland's going to benefit a little bit from Schroder and THJ leaving town. Let's talk about a waiver wire hero last year, Doc. Naji Marshall at 104, 8-cat total ranking, 8-cat per game, 136, 9-cat total ranking of 117, games played 69. Do any of these rankings represent Naj? And next year, Doc, are you fading, reaching, drafting at value?
I mean, I think the 136 is probably in the right area. And you called him a waiver wire hero. I was expecting him to be a waiver wire star. So many guys were hurt in Dallas, and Naji Marshall sort of became the man in theory. And he did have some good games, but I was expecting even more than we got from him with the way everybody else was hurt around him. And I just thought he was going to go off. So I'm going into next year. Like, is he going to be able to play in front of Max Christie? Dallas is probably going to make some moves this summer. And I don't know, man. I liked Naji Marshall as a stopgap, pick up and plug him guy that he became this year. But I can't see a world where we are targeting or drafting Naji Marshall.
Not at all. He's going to be on the Dallas bench, Doc. He is under contract with them, obviously, unless they make a trade. But Cooper Flag is coming to Dallas. And it's bad news for PJ Washington. It's bad news for Naji Marshall. In a way, does it really impact Gafford or Lively? Probably not all that much. They're pretty linear at that spot. But PJ Washington and Naji Marshall are like the two victims of fantasy-wise of Cooper Flag eventually going to Dallas here. So he's not draftable. I mean, he's just not. He's not a top 120 guy. He's not a top, probably not even a top 150 guy for me. I mean, if you like say, all right, well, off the bench, he's going to go 9 points, 4 boards, 2.5 assists. I can't. Like, it's nickels and dimes. It's waiver wire stuff. So he had, look, Kyrie Irving got hurt. Dallas was sort of just in the dumps. And he was a guy that rose out of that. It was a waiver wire. It was this year, lightning in a bottle, and barring a rash of injuries next year for Dallas, God forbid, it ain't going to happen again. And he'll just be a solid, sturdy bench player, playing his 15 minutes, getting his nickels and dimes out there. I like Naji Marshall a lot, but it's about role and opportunity, and I don't see it at all next year. So, Doc, let's move on here to 105. It is Zach Edey. Zach Edey, my boy. So 105 was his 8-cat total ranking. 8-cat per game, Doc, 135. 9-cat total ranking of 105, which is the exact same as his 8-cat total ranking. Kind of cool. And games played 66. Do any of these rankings represent Zach going into next year, Doc?
I'm going to say this. I hope not. I hope he's better than all those rankings next year. I was kind of excited about Edey going into this year because Memphis didn't really have any options at center, and I thought he was going to start from day one. I thought he was going to be a double-double machine and block a lot of shots. All of that sort of happened. I don't know that I'd call him a double-double machine, but and he had his ups and downs. He had an inconsistent long season, which I think is expected when you're a rookie and a big man and playing that many games and running and all that. But he held his own, and he was still playing well at the end of the year. And I think there's a lot of people in Memphis excited about Zach Edey. I know you're excited about him, but I don't think those rankings accurately depict where he's going to be drafted next year. I think he's going to be drafted like between round 6 and 9, 6 and 8, somewhere in there. And I know that you're excited about him. So you're more excited about him than I am. So talk about your boy.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. He is in that cluster that, I don't know, Doc, either the second wave or the third wave of bigs, where usually you need 2 centers. So he's kind of in that, like, let me go get my second center type of thing. With Brook Lopez, Alex Sarr will be in that group, and many others. I'm super bullish on Zach Edey, and it's because of Izolo, the new Memphis coach. Like, he greenlit him. I'm looking at, like, this is like crazy to me. I'm looking at Zach Edey's numbers in the playoff series. For some reason, I thought he was a lot better than this. And it was OKC, the Schroder. But he 6.3 points and 7.8 rebounds. I was like, really? I don't. I just my recollection of it was better than that. But that's pretty poopy actually. But it's his first playoff run, and it was against freaking Oklahoma City. So I'm not mad at the young fella, man. But he was an elite rebounder the second half of the year. Post All-Star, he went 9 points, 9.4 boards, and he had 38 blocks in 26 games. So what is that? I don't know, 1.4, something like that. Doc, I am predicting right now, as I speak to a chair here, I am predicting right now that Zach Edey will have a double-double next year. He will average a double-double next year. You heard it here. I don't feel like that's outlandish, hot takey, any of that. I feel like it's extremely reasonable. Is that toilet paper? What do we have?
We'll get to that in a second. Carry on.
Hey, do you agree with me that Zach Edey will average a double-double next year? And I'm going to throw on top of this 1.5 blocks. Does he go 10 and a half, 11, and 1.5 blocks? Would you co-sign that projection?
Yeah, I think if I'm projecting him, I've got him with a double-double and, like, I don't know, 1.6 blocks, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he learned a lot this past season, and I think he should only get better next year. So I think, as excited as I was about him coming into this year, he didn't really do anything to make me think that I should not continue to be excited about him.
Dude, he's talented, man. And Memphis took him number 9. They didn't take him 25 or in the second round. They took him 9th, dude. Like they went after him. They saw something in him. So when you have draft stock like that, it will anchor you to a lot of playing time. But Islo is into the Zach Edey thing, man, and so are we. So I'm looking at him, doing that kind of math. I like a top 75 guy. Probably feels about right. Not a top 50 guy. Probably in that top 70, top 80, 85 range. Safely in the top 100 players for sure. And we'll be talking a lot about Zach Edey all offseason. All right, let's move on to I'll let you say it. I'll just play it straight here. 106 is Harrison Barnes, Doc. 106, 8-cat total ranking, 8-cat per game, 206, 9-cat total ranking of 86, played 82 games. Do any of these rankings represent Harrison Barnes? And next year, Doc, are you fading him, reaching for him, or drafting him at value?
First of all, where'd it go? Where's my party pipe? Happy birthday, Harry B. Harry B. It's his birthday tomorrow, Rick.
I did not know that. Happy birthday to Harry B.
33 years old tomorrow. And I like to wish players happy birthdays, so I have my party pipes and my party hats always somewhere close. I had to go across the room to get them while you were talking. But I just wanted to make sure we wished Harry B a happy 33rd birthday. Honestly, when I pulled it up, I thought he was going to be like 43 and not 33. But anyway, Harry B somehow still carved out a role in San Antonio last year. But guess what I've heard about all morning from the talking heads at ESPN, right?
Let me guess, dynasty. Does OKC have a dynasty?
No, not yet, but they will be doing that. Because I'm trademarking Dynasty versus Destiny for this Pacers Oklahoma City's
put it on a t-shirt, Doc. Put it on a t-shirt.
I'm gonna put on a t-shirt and make $1 million. But anyway, all they're talking about is how San Antonio has the 2nd and 8th pick or something, and they can trade their assets not named Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama to get Giannis in San Antonio. And if that happens, Harry B's done. I'm thinking Harry B's done either way, but the Spurs do have a lot of assets. They probably do want to make a big move so that they have another piece to put with De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle. I just can't believe that Harrison Barnes played that well last season and got that many minutes for San Antonio. He had a big role, 27 minutes a game. He's played in all 82 games 3 years in a row, which is why his value's high. He's a waiver wire guy, and it all depends on what San Antonio does as to whether or not he even has a job when the season starts.
They love him down there. I mean, playing over Sohan, playing over Keldon Johnson. Like they love Harrison Barnes down there. So, and this is the same regime, same coach. If Harrison Barnes remains on this team, and you're looking at Wemby and all the guys that played last year, Fox, Castle, Vassell, I mean, they'll be in your starting five. Wemby will be in your starting five, and then your fifth starter. I mean, again, I think it should be Sohan. Like, what are we doing here? Let's develop this young dude. But they want to go Harry B there. So do they change that? That's usually not how this goes. Because I mean, Harrison Barnes played every game, had some decent like spike games, but like overall in fantasy, it's a no. It's a huge no. Do any of these rankings represent this player? Yeah, probably the 206. I mean, it's gross, but dude, 12. So he's at 12-4-2 PRA. Okay, so average, I can't even understand. I mean that literally is the definition of the waiver wire. 1.9 threes. All right, 2 threes per game. There's basically everybody in the league is hitting 2 threes per game, and no defensive numbers at all. So he's not draftable. He's just not. And there's downside even from here. So that's all I got on Harry B. He's a waiver wire guy. This one is interesting, Doc. Andrew Wiggins at 107, 8-cat total ranking. 8-cat per game, 105. 9-cat total ranking, 111. Games played, 60. How about that, Doc? 107, 105, 111, within 6 ranking spots of each other in 3 different formats. Kind of crazy. So I sheepishly ask you, do these rankings represent a man named Wig? And next year, Doc, are you fading? Are you reaching for him, or are you drafting him at value?
You know, how many years ago was it that he was a surprising, like he was an all-star at Golden State?
Like 3 years ago.
And that kind of came out of nowhere, right? And he was blocking shots and he was hitting threes and he was doing all this cool stuff. And he really became kind of a fantasy darling sleeper that season, where it's like, wait a second, maybe this guy's better than we thought he was. So yeah, 3 years ago, that was, and I think it may have been longer ago than that. He averaged 18 points and a 1.4 blocks. Yeah, he was blocking shots, hitting a bunch of threes, and scoring a bunch of points back then for Golden State. And last year, after he got traded from Golden State to Miami, his numbers went up a little bit. He was 19 points, 1.2 steals, 1.0 blocks, 4 boards, 3 assists, two threes. Those are pretty good numbers, but it was only a 17-game sample size. Jimmy Butler was out of the way, and Wiggins obviously replaced him. But I feel like Wiggins still has the potential to be very good. And if Miami doesn't make a bunch of moves, which they probably will, the way the season ended so terribly for them. But, if Wiggins is still a focal point, I think he could be better than these rankings. Like, and even if he's not better, I do think these rankings represent the player. I think taking Wiggins around 110 makes sense.
Look, Doc, I agree. Am I bullish on Andrew Wiggins? No, I'm a drafted value guy with Andrew Wiggins next year. 10th round. And I, was kind of thinking about this before the show, like, I'm in the 10th round. You know me with forwards. It's position scarcity like no other in fantasy basketball, and he should be SFPF, which is, to me, it adds value to players. But 107, 105, 111, yeah, that all rings true to me. And so top 120 means that last round is the 10th round. Yeah, I could definitely rock with Andrew Wiggins in the 10th round. Am I rocking with him in the 9th round? No, I'm not. I think he's a 10th round pick, like legit 10th round pick. Any way you slice it. You went through the numbers, Doc. I mean, dude, he was at 1 block, 1.2 steals, 2.1 threes. Sign me up. He's a 1-1-1 guy. There aren't very many of the, and that was in the time with Miami, but there aren't very many of those guys. So it's a rare stack combination. The efficiency is pretty good at 46% shooting in Miami. Look, Doc, it had grown very, very, very stale with him in Golden State and Steve Kerr. You remember, Steve Kerr told him that he could not play with Team Canada last year at the Paris Olympics. Okay, remember that?
Yep.
Like Wig wanted to play for Team Canada, and I forget the reason why. Andre probably knows it, but I think it was protect him from injury or some bullcrap like that. I can't remember what it was. But and we never really heard Andrew Wiggins' side of that story. I promise you that pissed him off. Like, who wants to be told? I mean, obviously, when your bosses tell you to do something, you do it. That's the employee relationship. But when you're a ball player like this and you want to represent your country, and your team tells you that you can't, that makes it funky to me. So it never really recovered. And we know that Steve Kerr brought him off the bench a little bit and started messing with playing time and all that kind of stuff. I feel like Wig is reborn a little bit in Miami. And by the way, Miami is my favorite city in the United States. I would be psyched, and it would motivate me to play better. We would be having better shows right now if I were in Miami. I'm just kidding, Doc. I'm just kidding. I'm already in Florida. But you get the point. I love me some Miami. But I like the stat set. He's a 10th round pick for me, and I would feel good about that. So let's move on, Doc. Coming up next here, we got PJ Washington. 108 was his 8-cat total ranking last year. 8-cat per game was 94. 9-cat total ranking was 120. Games played were 57. Do any of these rankings represent PJ going into next year? And are you drafting at value, fading, or reaching?
We need to see what happens this summer, because as it stands right now, Dallas has Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford. I don't know that leaves much room for PJ Washington. I really don't know that PJ Washington should be playing small forward. He's a power forward. And if I feel like every year we try to will PJ Washington to hit a bunch of threes and get a bunch of rebounds and be a really solid fantasy basketball player, but it just never really happens. I think those rankings are about right for him. I think he's another one of these guys where, the 10th or 11th or 12th round gets there, and I need a big that can hit a three. I'm going to look at PJ Washington, and that's just what he is. But I don't love him being in Dallas with Anthony Davis and those two other centers kind of standing in his way.
Going back to the Andrew Wiggins thing. Andre, I knew he'd have the intel on this. He writes, ankle injury that concerned the team. Rowan Barrett, pardon me, I got to clear my throat. Sorry. Rowan Barrett, RJ's dad, Canada general manager, told reporters Wiggins wants to play for his native country and Golden State is blocking him from doing so. I will tell you, the foreign basketball guys don't care about your feelings, and they are really like petty and edgy, and they tell the truth. They're super, super honest, and they are competitive, and they will go at your head. And that's kind of what that quote's about. They're blocking him. In other words, they're like raising a red flag, like, yo, blowing a whistle, like, yo, cops, come on over here. So like in America, these teams, they are a little bit more delicate, a little bit more nuanced, and I've just found that like what the internet, they don't care. Like, this is what it is. Anthony Slater, who's covered the Warriors for a long, long time, and a very respected reporter, a guy that I go back with a long time. He said Anthony Slater called it a mutual decision, but I don't believe that, because where Anthony Slater gets intel from the team, okay, the team probably told Anthony that it's a mutual decision. And in a way, like, I'm not saying Anthony Slater doesn't have his own thoughts and ideas and opinions, but in a way, he is a mouthpiece for the Golden State Warriors. He talks to them. They give him intel. He reports that intel. It's not him. It's them. And it's coming through the filter of Anthony Slater. So that's what Golden State, the Warriors, want everybody to know. Oh, it's a mutual decision. I don't believe that. I believe that if you talk to Andrew Wiggins, yo, did you really not want to play for Team Canada? Did you agree with the Warriors that you shouldn't play? I bet he would say, nah. Like on a podcast, Doc, 10 years from now, I want to ask Andrew Wiggins about that. When he's retired, right? Dude, was that a mutual decision, or were you pissed that Golden State held you out? I promise he will tell you that he was pissed. All right, let's move on here. PJ Washington, Doc. Cooper Flag, the frozen envelope that got Cooper Flag to Dallas, and the worst trade in NBA history that got Cooper Flag to Dallas, is a massive buzzkill for PJ Washington. Fantasy value destroyed. I don't know how else to put this. There's no room for him, Doc. Cooper Flag gonna play. This is weird. You've got Gafford Lively. Your 5 spot is completely locked up. It's actually a little bit too loaded. You've got 2 starters on one team. Anthony Davis wants to play the 4. Possibly could play more 5 this year, create more time for PJ Washington and Flag. But then, do you really want to reduce playing time of Gafford and Lively? I don't know. Not really. I kind of like Gaffley in there for 48 minutes with Anthony Davis at the 4. And I mean, damn, I don't know. PJ Washington guards 2s. He guards 2s a lot. Maybe they just go jumbo, dude. When Philadelphia's at the 1 yard line, right? And they do the tush push, and they bring all their linemen in, and it's just like the greatest jumbo lineup in NFL history. And they get every first down and every touchdown on that play. Dude, it's the most unstoppable play in NFL history, I'm telling you, Doc. That tush push. You know what I'm talking about? Where Hurts just takes it and they push him from behind and he just goes right behind center and he falls into the end zone. It's the most dude.
I am aware of the tush push. I believe it or not. Yeah, I can't believe we've talked about Naji Marshall, PJ Washington, and both times I failed to mention the fact that Cooper Flag's going to be there in a minute, which is just my bad. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Najee's going to get squeezed. PJ's going to get squeezed. I still feel like Nico's going to want to do something with Max Christie to try to prove that the trade wasn't totally bogus. And Dallas is going to be very interesting next year.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Thanks, NBA. Thank you. Thanks for looking out for us, man. Thanks for saving our franchise. Thanks for calming down our fan base and giving them something else to talk about on Local Talk. On Local Talk Radio. PJ Washington is not a top 120 player. I can't believe I'm saying that, right? Not a top 120 player. Here's where I'm drafting PJ Washington, Doc. 10th round, no way. I'm just throwing out a number. Let's say you have a 13-round draft. I could see maybe they're rocking PJ Washington in a cool 6-man role in the preseason or something, and it kind of looks good, and we're kind of I'll roll the dice on PJ late because I like the stat set. He's a 1-1-1 guy when he gets minutes. The block steals the threes. Decent PRA guy. I tend overall to be a PJ Washington guy, so he's not dead and off my radar, but he's not a top 120 guy. He's a last round or second to last round guy for me. And that's where it is right now. Like Doc said, changes could be coming, and we'll be covering it all off season here on the Fantasy NBA today. But this is where I'm at with PJ right now. 109, Doc, is Kelly Oubre, my boy. And not my boy I'm not going to go get a Kelly Oubre jersey. Although Doc, when you start talking, I just bought 2 jerseys. And I'm super, super, super stoked about one of these jerseys. I got to go get it and show it to you, dude. But I'll get it for you here in just a second.
Or we can break it out on tomorrow's show. Either one.
Yeah, I'm kind of stoked. I want to show it to you right now. Okay. But I'm not getting a Kelly Oubre jersey, but he is my guy. So 109 8-cat total ranking, Doc. 104 8-cat per game, and 103 9-cat total ranking. Again, that's crazy. 109, 104, 103. Played 60 games this year, Doc. So I guess asking, does this ranking represent the players, kind of crazy. But next year, are you fading, or are you reaching, or are you drafting at value? And let me tell you, Doc, he has a free agent decision. He has a player option at $8.4 million. Obviously, Nick Nurse has a great role for him there, but he could opt out and try to get more money, so that's a part of this conversation as well. Go
get the jersey. I will talk while you are gone. let's look at Kelly Oubre's games played over the last 6 seasons, I think it is. 69, that was a good one. Then it's 56, 55, 76, 48, 68, 60. That's a lot of missed games, man. And I felt like this year Kelly Oubre was injured a lot. But then I looked at his record, and he's always injured a lot. And I like his fantasy game because he has the potential to be a steal, block, and 3 per game guy. But he's only done that once in his career. And the blocks are down. They've been 0.4, 0.4, 0.7, 0.5 over the last 4 years. So the blocks are down. The threes are down. They used to be 2.5. Now it's 1.5, 1.2-ish. And you add all the injuries into that. And I don't think I'm still a Kelly Oubre guy. I'm going to let somebody else draft him. So that's where I am with Oubre. I think if the time gets down to if you get down to the 10th or 11th round and need a guy, I think those rankings, 109, 105 is doable for Oubre, but it depends on where he lands. And without him being healthy, I think I'm taking myself out of the game. Rick, do you have a Damian Baugh jersey?
No, that would be in your collection. The Damian Baugh, the what was it? The Greenville Storm or something like that or whatever. Dude, check out this jersey, dude. I'm so stoked for this jersey. Look at this.
Oh boy.
Is that hot or what, dude?
Oh boy. You did it.
I got old school diesel, dude. I love the pinstripes down here in Florida. Kind of a low-key Magic fan. Check this out too, dude. Like it's from 94, 95. I just think it's a really, really dope jersey. A little jersey advice for people. Go to eBay. Go to eBay and search for I want an Ant-Man jersey or whoever. You will get it cheaper than you can get it anywhere else. Okay. And don't I made the mistake, Doc. I got a couple of jerseys from China. They're close to authentic. They're super, super close to authentic, but they're not quite authentic. The ones on eBay are completely authentic. You know the KG jersey that I rocked, that Hardwood Classic joint? The white one? It's got the stitch and all that kind of stuff. I got that off eBay for $45 or something like that. Dude, you know the green Wemby? You know that I haven't worn it in a while, but it's the multicolor Spur jersey Wemby. I got that for $30 on eBay, bro. Now here's the thing: you gotta wait forever. You mean that's the trade-off? You get a discount.
The China ones, they come. It takes months for them to get here.
It didn't take months, but it took kind of long for those two. But I got them, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this again. I like the jerseys. I don't love the jerseys because they're, like I said, they're almost authentic. But I love jerseys, and I wear them all the time down here in Florida. So I'm kind of into the jersey thing.
It's funny. I got one of my Luka jerseys, and I'm not very smart. So when I order something, I don't shop online very often. So if I order something, I don't really know where it's coming from. And one of those Luka jerseys I got came from China, and it was right as COVID was starting. So that thing arrived in my house, and all I could think about was this thing's infected, and carried it to the washing machine and dropped it in there. Immediately washed it, and
you burned the packaging that it came in.
I just set it on fire. Because it was literally right as the news was breaking about COVID, and it started in a lab in Wuhan, and I'm like, this thing probably came out of that lab, dude. I gotta wash this thing.
You crack me up, dude. But dude, I'm telling you, whatever jersey you want. I want a Cade Cunningham jersey. I want a Donovan Mitchell jersey. Just put eBay, okay? And it'll pop up. You'll search. You'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe how low these prices are. And then it's going to be like, let's say you order it now. It's May 29th, right? It's going to be like estimated delivery of like July 10th. All right. So that sucks, but that's why you're getting it cheaply. So if you can kind of buy it and then forget about it, which I can do, it's not that hard. But I would recommend that because these jerseys are dope and they're like half the cost, if not like a third of the cost. I mean, that Shaq jersey right there, bro, that's a $150 jersey right there, bro. I got that for like $45. Anyway, enough of the bargain talk. Kelly Oubre is not a top 120 guy. I love Kelly Oubre, but Doc, I love Kelly Oubre when he's sneaking up on everybody. 10th round? Nah, that's not sneaking up on anybody. There's no value there. I would mess around with him like last pick of the draft kind of thing. 15 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.2 threes, 47%. I like he. I do. I like he. I love the steals from Oubre. The 3-ball was a little bit disappointing last year, Doc. Shot 29%. He's got to fix that. But I'm a Kelly Oubre guy, but not a top 120 guy. He's like a last pick of your draft type of guy. So if these values look pretty representative of him, but I'm going to fade off of that value. Not totally off my radar, but I'm going to fade him off of that value. All right, 110, Doc, is Goga Bitadze. 110, 8-cat total ranking, 8-cat per game, 157, 9-cat total ranking of 100, played 70 games. How are you feeling about Goga?
I'm not really. Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Wagner, and Goga. Like, those seem to be the center choices. If Wendell Carter Jr. wasn't there, and maybe he's a free agent, maybe he's leaving, I don't know. If Goga had the starting job to himself, I think I could get into Goga because, he's a good shot blocker, he's a good rebounder, and, a pretty good player. But he was only getting 20 minutes a game this year. He only got 15 minutes a game last year, and he averaged 7 points and 6.5 boards and 1.4 blocks in those minutes. And that's just not enough numbers for him to be drafted in fantasy leagues. So the fact he played his 70 games, I think helped. The fact that he didn't turn the ball over helped. Not a very good free throw shooter, but his field goal percentage is through the roof. So, I think Goga is a good role player, but he would really need to be alone on starter's island like Zach Edey was last year from Memphis before I'm going to draft him in fantasy.
Doc, Goga had that job locked up. You remember, he was playing better than Wendell Carter Jr. Goga was doing it. We were picking him up in fantasy leagues. We were enjoying the 1.82 blocks and the flirting with double-double thing. And then he got hurt, and he came back, and then Wendell Carter Jr. rose a little bit, and then Goga kind of slid back into that backup role. So that was a buzzkill for him. He's completely off my radar draft-wise. And then, like, God forbid, Wendell Carter Jr. has an injury, or if Orlando trades Wendell Carter Jr. and ascends Goga to the starting spot, we can have a different conversation. But as it stands right now, Wendell Carter Jr. is on that roster and frankly played some pretty good ball down the stretch. Carter has 1 year left on his deal. So I'm looking at Goga as a waiver wire guy, not draftable. He's not a top 120 guy, probably not even a top 150 guy. I do not believe these rankings are representative of him at all. Playoff check-in, Doc, time. And it is Pacers and Knicks. And let's see here. Tonight, we have Game 5 at the Garden. Great call, Doc. I thought about this the other night. You were saying how Halliburton was going to be fired up with his dad being back in the house, and Halliburton had a 1-of-1 playoff game. First player in NBA history in the playoffs with 30-plus points, 15-plus dimes, 10-plus rebounds, and no turnovers. Nobody's ever done that in the history of the playoffs. 32, 15, and 12. He also had 4 steals, Doc. How about a 15-0 assist-to-turnover ratio against the Knicks? Are you serious?
And it's funny. It's funny. My daughter had a baby. He's 3 months old. my wife and my daughter are both at work today, so I was on baby patrol from like 9 to 11 today, and then Soren, my 17-year-old son, took over at 11. But I was trying to get the baby to sleep, and I had ESPN on in the background, and all these things they're talking about today, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Now Jalen Brunson is a problem, and he holds the ball too long, and he's the reason that the Knicks are getting throttled by the Pacers so far, which I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just funny because, a week ago, Jalen Brunson was a godsend and everybody's gift to point guards, and now he's the problem that the Knicks aren't winning. So whatever. Tyrese was incredible. The Pacers crowd was incredible. The Pacers themselves played really well. I've been saying they are a team of destiny, and Oklahoma City is a young dynasty in the making. This is going to be destiny versus dynasty if the Pacers can win Game 5 at New York, or if they can win Game 6 at Indiana. The pressure's all back on Indiana now, because if they somehow don't win this series, it'll be the first time the Knicks have ever come back from down 3-1 to win a playoff series. Hell, it might be not very many teams have done that ever. But I'm telling you, man, I don't like it. They're going to play in New York tonight. If the Knicks come out and play well, they're going to gain some momentum, and then they're going back to Indiana. The Knicks are a good road team, and it's anybody's series at that point. So I really, as a Pacer fan, I hope the Pacers put it away tonight. As a prognosticator, I'm fine with New York winning tonight because I have them playing Oklahoma City in the finals.
All right, Dr. A. Let's talk Karl Anthony Towns, Doc, because I'm super, super, super worried about Cat. Dude, he was dragging that left leg. By the way, a left leg that has been surgically repaired in that knee area before. And he looked to be in a lot of pain. He was not moving well at all towards the end of that game. And it's a quick turnaround here, only one day off. I don't think Cat is going to be right. And I think that's absolutely huge. So a point that I want to make here, dude. The Pacers own the East right now. They own it. They're better than New York. They beat them last year. They're up 3-1 this year. They're better than Milwaukee. They're rivals. They beat them last year. They beat them this year. They're better than Cleveland. They just beat them in the playoffs. Tatum is out for Boston. There's no other team that's like lurking at their level. Like, yeah, Orlando's kind of a spicy little upside team. Detroit, they're not even close to the Pacers level right now. Dude, think about that. The Pacers own the East right now. They do. Like, going into next year, they're good to go. I'm probably going to have them number one in the Eastern Conference in the regular season. Maybe I'll put Cleveland, with the high win total, maybe Indiana number 2. But I'm just saying that's that's kind of like statistical stuff, right? Like what you do in the regular season. What ultimately matters is you merge that with the playoffs. Then you determine like who really owns something, who's really the best. And the Pacers beat the Cavaliers. They own the East right now. And I think that's pretty cool. I don't think we've ever been able to say that, Doc. In the history of the NBA, I don't think the ABA, the Pacers once owned the ABA. I don't think we've ever been able to say the Pacers owned their conference in the NBA. You are a Pacers fan. You're from Indiana. So talk to me. Have the Pacers ever owned their conference in the NBA?
No, they never did. Larry Bird was always in the way, and then Michael Jordan was always in the way. I mean, Michael Jordan stopped Reggie Miller every single time except once. I think Pacers got to the finals in 2000 and got blown out by Kobe and Shaq and the Lakers. So I don't think we've ever been able to say it before.
I think it's pretty cool. All right, so let's move on here to some ATS, Doc. I'm going to shock you maybe here. I like the Pacers tonight, Doc. I like the Pacers. Plus 4.5. Several reasons why. Cat's not going to be Cat. His knee is messed up. And that's going to create a math problem because you have to keep up with Indiana. Also, you have to get stops, and the Knicks cannot get stops on this team, but you have to keep up with them. The Pacers they're an awesome pace team. They're going to take a ton of shots. They're going to run. They're going to put points on the board, and you have to keep up with them. And you have to have all of your heavy hitters, if you're New York, clicking and sticking. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be a cat game tonight, Doc. Like I said, the Knicks can't get stops. Okay, like they have Bridges and OG. They have defensive players. Brunson's a terrific defensive guard. Hart's a great defensive player. And Indiana's like, yeah, so what? Like we're just better than you. Doc, think about this. This series would already be over, broom style, had Cat not gone off for 20 points and 8 rebounds in the fourth quarter of Game 3. It would already be over, Doc. Over. Swept. And then our next game would be the NBA Finals on June 5th, okay? By the way, the Knicks suck at home. 1-2 against Detroit, 2-1 against Boston, 0-2 against Indiana. They're 3-5 at home in the playoffs, Doc. And the Pacers closed out the Knicks at the Garden last year, and it appears that they're going to do it again this year because they're unafraid, and Tyrese Halliburton's going to be running over to Spike Lee with that kind of thing. By the way, that was so dope. I freaking loved that. I reposted it on my at Rick Kamla Sports Twitter feed, dude. Like the screenshot of him of Halliburton going.
Halliburton.
I love that stuff. So anyway, bro, I'm on Pacers tonight. I think tonight the Pacers go to the NBA Finals. They're going to beat the New York Knicks, put them out of their misery, and I'll take the 4.5.
Yeah, I've got a little plus 155 money line going with the Pacers tonight, so I'm with you. Because I kind of feel like the Pacers have to win tonight. They need to just end it tonight. They need to get rest. Oklahoma City's going to be resting for a week. But yeah, I think I've got the Pacers tonight too. And I don't, in my props, I don't have any. I love the Pacers plus 4.5. I think they're going to win the game. So as far as the props go, I'm staying away from Cat. I think Jalen Brunson, if the Knicks are going to win, he's got to score over 30. So I'm going to go over 30.5 on Brunson. And then I think Tyrese Halliburton is playing at a different level right now. And I've got him over 21.5 points.
All right, Doc. I'm feeling frisky right now. I may make a bet right here on the air. Oh, Pacers are at plus 145 on Hard Rock Bet. All right, $50 bet. What's that get me? 122? Done. Done. Bet placed on the air. Let's go. Little money line action on them Pacers, yo. That's pretty good. What was that? 50 to win 120?
Yeah.
Daddy likey. Come on. Come on, Pacers. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right. So, props. I like Brunson over 30.5. And by the way, pardon me, Brunson's been at like 27, 28. Pop, it's at 30. Why? This tells me that Vegas knows something about Karl Anthony Towns' knee. I believe that they have built in either him not playing or not playing well or playing and then having to leave the game. And they've already built that in. And so that's why Brunson's number lifted a little bit here. All right. So again, that steers me to Indiana. Cat is going to be an issue tonight. And God bless him. I mean, he's hurt. I'm not mad at him. In the series, Brunson's gone 43, 36, 23, 31. And it's a death game at the Garden. Come on, man. Brunson's going to fire tonight. And with Cat going down, Brunson's going to have to do more. So I like OG over 16.5 points, Doc. He's been 16, 16, 16, 22 in the series. I like Bridges over 16.5 tonight. He's been 16, 20, 15, 17. I like Hart over 9.5 tonight. He's been 8, 6, 8, 12, but I think he's settled into his bench role now, and I think he's going to play well. But I think I'm under on Cat, Doc, at 21.5. I'm going to fade him because of that injury. So Fading Cat leads to more scoring from all these other guys. Make it a 5-player parlay if you would like, Doc. I certainly will not, but that's where I'm at with Ricky props. Hey, couple of messages before we get out of here, guys. We want you guys to download the Sports Ethos app. It's amazing. The past 12 months have been a game changer for us. We're working behind the scenes to bring you the best fantasy product you've ever experienced. Download our app now. Stay on top of all the latest news for the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. Take advantage of our fantasy basketball tools because our app is your ultimate edge. Do not miss out. And also go to sportsethos.com and subscribe to our work over there because we will help you win cash. We will help you win leagues and have a good time. For Doc, for Andre, I'm Cam. This episode's been brought to you by Bet Online.